This is a podcast.
Yeah, we talk about stuff.
We bought microphones.
Yeah, I don't know why.
We spent a lot of money.
And we haven't done shit with it yet.
It's been like a month and
because I can't get you to fucking do anything.
Look, I got nothing. But yeah, this is a podcast. This is the Torn Page podcast. We're the Torn Page.
I'm Casey.
I'm Joseph.
And today we're talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
One of my favorite games from back in the day.
Yeah, I think it was like the biggest memory of games played as a kid, except for like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. And Spyro for me.
I played a lot of that shit. But we're starting off, we're going to talk about the Tony Hawk himself, since he's a major part of the game's success. And then we'll talk about the Neversoft era, which was the first, like, all the pro skaters, Thug, Project 8, Proving Ground. And then when they left, it all went downhill and sucked fucking ass. And I haven't played any since then. So.
You almost had a pun there.
What?
It all went downhill.
Oh.
Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
That game sucks so bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. Anyway, we're going to have Joseph talk about Tony Hawk for a little bit and his successes and him being beautiful.
Him being the man. The
Tony
Birdman.
Hawk's a legend. He's a fucking legend.
The Birdman. Anthony Frank Hawk. Frank.
That's a cool name.
That is.
Frank Hawk.
I think he would have made it further if he went as Frank Hawk.
No, Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk just sounds better. Can you imagine like Frank Hawk's Underground? It'd be Fug.
I'm down. I'm down. Or if he just went by Anthony, a hug.
A hug.
A hug.
That's sweet.
Sales would have went through the roof.
Oh yeah, people would love it. Thug sounds better though. They're skateboarders, you know.
Yeah, they're
grungy
thugs.
Shit. All that rock music and shit.
Bam Margera.
Yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. He took a dildo in the ass. Anyway.
Multiple times.
Yeah. All right, talk about Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk was born May 12th, 1968, which as of this year, 2019, makes him 50 years old.
Yep.
And he's been skating since he was, 14?
It's his birthday.
Holy shit, it's Tony Hawk's birthday.
He's 51 years old.
We didn't plan this.
That's
We
weird.
did not plan this at all.
Yeah, he's born in San Diego. He's a Cali boy.
Happy birthday, Tony.
I'm sure he's in the start of all the skateboarders, honestly.
Yeah, when Tony was a child, he was born to Nancy and Frank Peter Rupert Hawk and was raised in San Diego. When he was young, he was described as hyperactive by his parent.
Now you have to take pills for that shit.
Yeah. Welcome to my world. Yeah. Tony's mother said that he was so hard on himself and expected himself to do so many things. One time, Tony struck out in baseball and was so distraught that he hid in a ravine and had to be physically coaxed out by his father.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah. His frustration with himself was so harsh that his parents had him evaluated at school. The results were that Tony was gifted. He tested with an IQ of 144. School advisors recommended placing Tony in advanced classes.
Oh yeah, if you're that fucking smart, you better be in advanced classes. You don't want to fuck around and just be like, I'm dumb.
I'm smart, but...
I mean, that shows where he is now, though, you know? He's got smart business mind.
After reading that, it goes to say that if he has an IQ that high, he probably threw some physics into that 900, trying to perfect it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you could tell when he's hitting that bottom ramp that he...
Gotta respect the squat.
Yeah.
Respect the squat.
The squat.
Respect the squat.
Hawk attended Gene Farb Middle School from 1980 to 1981 and eventually returned for the show Homecoming with Rick Riley, where he set up a ramp and did a demonstration.
He was one of the first big vert skaters, wasn't he?
He was...
Because, I mean, a lot, like the Dogtown Boys, you know, they hit bowls and shit like that, but not like...
you didn't see that many back in the Z-Town.
Z-Boys, yeah.
Yeah,
like
the Z-Boys.
Boys.
You didn't see a lot of ollies and jumping and shit like that. You saw a lot of flatland.
They also skated different boards, because they all skated longboards usually.
Yeah, that's where skateboarding come from, was surfing. It was concrete surfing.
Street surfing.
Yeah. His parents supported his skateboarding because it served as an outlet for his excessive energy, like my mom did.
Yeah.
And as Hawk's skills developed, he became a professional skateboarder at age 14.
Yep. 1982 went pro. I remember a story. It was from when I was watching Casey Neistat did a video with Tony Hawk. It was like it was an advertisement for when he released his mobile game this last year. Mm-hmm. And Casey Neistat did like an interview with him, and he was talking about it, and he was like, when he was in high school, he owned his own house.
That's awesome.
Like he was like 16, 17 years old, owned his own house in high school with a pool in the backyard that he just drained for people to skate, for him to skate.
Why else would you have a pool?
I know, right? And it was just so crazy to think that like he had won so many competitions by the time he was like 16 that he could afford to buy his own house. Still in high school, just partying.
And I can't even afford to tank a fucking gas.
We're not as skilled.
No.
At anything.
We would have been, but I just had to go and break my fucking leg.
Yeah.
Shall we jump ahead to the 900?
Yeah, go ahead.
On June 27th, 1999, Hawk was the first skater to land a 900, a trick involving the completion of 2.5 mid-air revolutions on a skateboard. How many times did it take Tony to complete it?
12.
12 attempts. Times. After completing the trick, Hawk commented, "This is the best day of my life."
Yeah, it was that he did that right before Pro Skater came out. It was like a month before Pro Skater came out is when he hit it.
In 2011, Hawk was still able to land the trick and posted a video on his Twitter account stating, "I'm 43 and I did a 900 today." Fuck you, Tony.
Tony Hawk has one of the best Twitters you can ever follow because it's full of just people not believing he's him.
Hey, are you Tony Hawk? Yeah. Why?
Like, he went to a fucking rental car agency to get a car. He had ordered it ahead of time, and he put the name Tony Hawk. And when he gets there, they had deleted it because they thought somebody was playing it as a joke. He walks up to the counter, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're actually Tony Hawk." "Yeah, this is me." He was like, "Where's my car?" He's like, "Oh, I deleted it because I thought somebody was playing a joke on us." And he was like, "Can I have a fucking car? Like, I need a fucking car."
Everybody remembers CCS magazine. Loved CCS magazine.
I bought so much shit through CCS.
Yeah, shoes, pants, shirts, sunglasses for no reason.
So that's where Nicky got his first board.
Yeah, mine too.
First complete was through CCS.
Yeah, I got a zero board.
I think his probably was too. That was at Zero's like height and success before Chris Cole left and Jamie Thomas retired. And
I had a choice between Zero or Girl.
I would have chose Baker personally.
Yeah.
Terry Kennedy was my favorite skateboarder.
But I had them DGK wheels.
He puts the B in Baker.
I miss my DGK wheels.
Yeah, DGK was the shit.
They were pizza.
Was it Steve Williams?
Stevie Williams.
Williams,
they were Stevie Williams.
Them dirty ghetto kids.
Oh, CCS magazine.
Yeah, about CCS. Go ahead.
You could order it under any name.
Yeah. No, they didn't care.
I ordered it under Tony Hawk once, and they sent it to me.
That's awesome. What if they accidentally threw some extra shit in? Because they're like, "Oh, it's Tony Hawk.
Oh, it's Tony Hawk.
Let's give him some extra shit."
Why is he ordering through us?
He gets free shit.
In 2009, Tony Hawk was invited to President Barack Obama's Father's Day celebration and skated in the hallways of the nearby old executive office buildings, which is on the White House grounds.
He don't give a fuck.
He don't care.
I mean, if Barack Obama's your homie, you can get away with just about anything. You know
this marked the first time ever someone skateboarded on the White House grounds with permission from officials.
That's awesome. I bet you. I wonder if he would like back in the day if he would have tried it without permission.
Oh no, he would have got. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't they like shoot on sight if you try to jump over that fence?
Yeah. Yeah. In 2009, Hawk was inducted to the Skateboarding Hall of Fame at its inaugural ceremony.
But yeah, that's Tony Hawk's the shit. I love Tony Hawk so much.
Tony Hawk, the Birdman.
The Birdman. He owns Birdhouse Boards.
Lakai Footwear.
Does he own Lakai?
No, these sorry, as sponsors.
Yeah, he's sponsored by Lakai.
He's sponsored by Birdhouse, which he sponsors himself pretty much.
Yeah.
Lakai Footwear, Independent, Bones, and Nixon.
Okay, so Independent trucks, Bones wheels, Nixon bearings.
Yeah, isn't Independent Walmart boards now? No, I'm thinking of World Industries.
Yeah, Independent. They just make trucks and wheels. They're like super popular in that space though.
Kind of easy to snap.
Yeah, but
I should know.
Yeah. Speaking of legs. Anyway, all right, that's Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk, he's a legend. He's done everything you can imagine, I think. People hate him all the time because he skateboards with his kid on board, but he gets so much shit for it. You don't even understand. His daughter is like 5 or 6.
Riley?
Or back when she was like younger.
Yeah, I've seen.
Like
the
he
video,
literally
yeah.
like there. He was like skating a ramp with her in his arms when she was like a baby, and he was like, "I can skateboard better than most of you can fucking walk."
Mike V did it with his daughter, but nobody's going to challenge Mike V.
Yeah, because there's videos of him fighting 4 guys at a time.
Yeah, because Bam can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
But like, it was so funny. Tony Hawk, like, he posted on Twitter. He was like, "Look, I have better balance on a skateboard than most people do walking. I promise you, it's nothing. I'm not trying to hit a fucking 900 with my kid on me. I'm just."
It would have been awesome.
That would have been fucking wild. But yeah. Okay.
I would say let's go through all of his skating accomplishments, but this is a huge list.
How many gold medals does he have? Can you count it?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I know it's a lot. Counting.
10.
10 golds.
10 golds.
Is that X Games golds or
just golds?
Open tournaments? Yeah, okay.
3 silvers, 3 bronzes.
That's awesome though. He's so fucking good.
But with the popularity of Tony Hawk in the 90s or early 2000s, let's jump into the games.
Activision, they wanted a skateboarding game. EA had released Street Skater. Sega released, was it Downhill Skateboard? Top Skater. Mm-hmm. They were both racing games, downhill racing games or whatever. Activision wanted to jump on the bandwagon. So they approached Neversoft. They're like, look, skateboarding's getting huge. It's growing. We need to make a skateboarding game. Tony Hawk was not on board yet. So Neversoft was like, okay, we have the engine for Apocalypse we created, the third-person shooter. And when they showed that to Activision, they were like, hey, we can use this engine that can allow for all these 3D movements and various things, so we don't have to make a racing game. We can innovate and create a new type of skating game that's never been done before. And Activision was like, let's fucking do it.
Let's do this.
That would be awesome. Innovation's always the key in any type of technological platform, company, whatever. So anyway, they move on with that. The company co-founder of Neversoft, his name is Joel Jewett. Yeah. He built a half pipe in his backyard when they were developing the game. And him and a bunch of his Joseph was trying to open his drink very quietly.
It worked.
And it was funny. Sorry. But he built a half pipe in his backyard along with a bunch of a bunch of his coworkers all learned how to skateboard. So they could try to make the game feel as real as possible.
Am I the only one that like pictured in my head a bunch of like fat old dudes in business suits bailing on skateboards?
These are game developers though.
Okay, so fat nerds.
They're not all fat nerds. I mean, it's all good. But yeah, he built a skateboard park, little half pipe, so he could try to figure out how well they could relate to the game when creating it, so it felt as real as possible. Along with they used motion capture. I think it was like one of the first games to use motion capture in that way, at least, to make all of the movement feel as real as possible. They did a really good job on the first game to make something that's never been made before. They decided to use different soundtracks than most games that are out.
And these games had the best soundtracks.
Yeah, like from Pro Skater all the way to... I didn't play much Project 8, but at least to American Wasteland. Mm-hmm. That's what I remember all the way up to 05. Like every soundtrack. Because they choose like the rock music, some rap music, stuff like that.
American Wasteland is still one of my best, one of my favorite soundtracks.
Yeah, it was so good. So was Thug 2. Moving forward, I don't want to spend too much time on that. But Tony Hawk, he was attached like 6 months before release. They were like, hey, let's throw somebody's name on it. I don't know if it was because of other games, because I think he was the reason those other games were made.
Yeah, like Matt Hoffman and Dave Mirra games.
Yeah, Matt Hoffman, BMX, the Dave Mirra.
And Kelly Slater.
Kelly Slater, he had a Snurfer game, didn't he?
Yeah, and...
plus, like, the Tiger Woods games hadn't been made yet. Mm-hmm. The only game I think that was made before this was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really say that's...
You also had you had skateboarding games too, like Skate or Die on the Nintendo.
Yeah, but none of them had been made like this. They were all like downhill skating games.
It was revolutionary.
Yeah, it really was. But Tony Hawk was attached to the game late in development. As we said earlier, he performed the 900 at the X Games in 99 or 98.
99.
Yeah, 99. About a month before the game was released, which, definitely helped sales because he became the most legendary person in the sport at that time because he hit a 900 when no one else had ever done it. The game, let's talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater itself for a minute.
When Tony Hawk was released, it was released on the PlayStation August 31st, 1999, and was later ported to the N64, Game Boy Color, Dreamcast, and N-Gage. Ew.
No clue what the fuck the N-Gage is.
The N-Gage was like a cell phone.
Mobile phone and handheld game system developed by Nokia.
I don't want to talk about it.
That looks terrible.
It was awkward.
Terrible. But the first game was basically like career mode. And like an arcade mode.
Career mode, you had 5 objectives to complete represented by videotapes. You had 2 minutes to complete the objectives, but you didn't have to get all 5 in a level.
Yeah. You could,
if you completed 1 or 2, like getting skate or combo, you could go back and get the other 3.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But I don't remember a ton about the first game, but I do remember that. Yeah. I remember going back and playing it. I think I remember the most about the Thug games, but they decided, they said they wanted to make a game every year. That's why they increased production so much. That's why they increased their staff so much. You had Pro Skater 2 that came out in 2000, and then Pro Skater 3 came out in 2001. Pro Skater 2 was released on PlayStation, PC, Game Boy Color, Dreamcast, Game Boy Advance, Mac OS, Nintendo 64, and iOS eventually. Is it on iOS still? That'd be kind of cool. Both games retained, they're pretty much the same games. There's a little bit of improvements. Like, I think Pro Skater 2, there was more customization, new flips.
Yeah.
I think that's when like the double flips and triple flips came in where you could like hold the button and it would just like keep fucking going and then you'd break your nuts because you'd forget to let go and hit the ground. Yep. And Pro Skater, was Pro Skater 3 when you got custom characters? Yeah, Pro Skater 3. Okay, Pro Skater 3 was released on the PS2. It was when it came out on PS2. And I think that was the first time there was online servers.
Yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 was the first game released for PlayStation 2 supporting online play, as well as the last game to be released on the N64, which was 4 months prior to the release.
Yeah. I remember all that. Yeah, no, it was Pro Skater 3 that introduced double flipping and triple flipping and all that.
According to Metacritic, Pro Skater 3 and Grand Theft Auto 3 hold an average critic score of 97 out of 100, making them the highest rated PlayStation 2 games of all time.
Yeah, between it and GTA 3. GTA 3 was a fucking awesome game too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, moving past that, they were both extremely critically acclaimed. All of the Pro Skater games were. Was Pro Skater, did the original Pro Skater had Pro Skaters in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Bob Burnquist, Tony Hawk, Bucky Lassick, fucking Andrew Reynolds. I almost said Ryan Reynolds. I do that all the time. Andrew Reynolds, Jamie Thomas. I forgot Jamie Thomas was in the first game. Holy shit. Jamie Thomas is one of my favorite skaters of all time.
He's from Alabama.
Yeah. He used to skate for the park down in Homewood before it got destroyed. There's a skate company down there. I can't remember the name of them, but he used to be sponsored by them. And there's a barbecues place down in Homewood that was like right by the old skate park.
Yeah.
I think it was a Dreamland barbecue. Maybe. But Nikki and all them went down there to skate and met Jamie Thomas there. It was pretty cool. Pro Skater 3 sold 2.1 million copies. Holy shit. Anyway.
That's a lot of cheese.
That's a lot of money. And moving forward, 2001, they released Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X. Did you ever play it?
I did not.
It was on original Xbox.
Oh.
It was pretty much a compilation of the first two games since they weren't originally on Xbox. And it allowed people that never played them before to go back and revisit them. It was literally the only release on Xbox. And then we got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in 2002. Is this the one I remember the most about? I remember that cover a ton.
I think that's the one with...
Did it started open world-ish things? Yeah, it had a free skate mode. It's what led into like the story modes from the other games. It wasn't just mainly like, hey, you have to do this specific thing. You could technically like skate around and do whatever.
What you want.
First game to include skitching, where you could hold on the back of cars and whatnot. It was awesome.
Speed wobbles.
Oh, this is the game that had Jango Fett in it.
Yeah. Secret characters. The Tony Hawk games are very known for doing that. After a while, they've had Jango Fett, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Darth Maul.
There was Daisy, which was a female character based off an actress.
Fun fact about Daisy, who is she voiced by?
Jenna Jameson.
Jenna Jameson.
The wonderful, lovely titty Jimmy Jameson.
You remember her cheat code?
No.
It was literally boobs.
Oh, really?
Not the word boobs. The way you text boobs.
Like the calculator boobs?
Start parentheses, 0 in parentheses, and then repeat that. It's pretty much boobs. That's her cheat code.
That's awesome. Going
into a little bit of the future right now, you have Billy Joe Armstrong.
Oh, really?
From Green Day. Darth Maul, Doom Guy, Eddie to the Head, which is Iron Maiden's mascot.
Yeah.
The Grim Reaper, which was a character from Guitar Hero. And Judy Nails. She was also...
Yeah.
Hello, Lindsay Pastrana. Nick Kang from True Crime.
I don't remember who that is.
What was the bum's name?
The bum?
Ollie the Magic Bum.
Oh, yeah.
Officer Dick, which was the first unlockable character.
Yeah.
Ollie the Magic Bum.
Officer Dick.
Tony Hawk's Underground. That's one of my favorites.
All right. So after Pro Skater 4, best-selling franchise in the world. They were the best-selling franchise in the world in 2002 after Pro Skater 4. So they expanded from 12 employees to 150 employees. They could develop more games, spend more time on, or make them better, feature more skaters. And one good thing was Activision paid skaters very, very well.
I'm sure.
The royalties they got for those games was extremely well, which is, you can't say that about Activision now, but back then, they, it's like the thing, what is the saying?
Don't shit where you eat?
No, it's like, do you live long enough to become a villain or whatever, that saying?
Yeah, whatever, Batman.
Yeah, Batman thing. Activision, the reason Activision started was to get away from the big corporate giants that didn't listen to the developers. And it was literally like the four amigos started it. And now they are what they ran away from. And it's just hilarious to see because they're assholes. Fuck Activision. Anyway, 2003, we got Thug.
Yeah.
Thug was a story game of sorts with the way they use storytelling. Exploration is like the main thing. And this was the first one that created custom characters. Yeah. You designed your own guy or gal. It's 2019.
Or non-binary, gender fluid.
Back then it was
just male or female back then.
Yeah. Anyway.
But you could be a female but skate around with a dick.
Do you know why they created custom characters?
Because I got tired of playing as Bob Burnquist?
No, because when the Thug game started, moving forward all the way to probably American Wasteland, it was about doing criminal shit.
Yeah.
And they didn't want you playing as Tony Hawk and
spray painting a building,
destroying stuff and spray painting a building because they didn't want it to reflect them in real life.
They wanted you to fall for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you played Bam Margera, it'd be probably fine.
Bam would own up to it.
Yeah. Or like Mike Vallely.
Mike Vallely would just beat the shit out of anybody that tried to snitch on him.
Yeah, true. It was previous game had character creation, but when they started releasing on the PS2, They had that camera for the PS2. And you could do like the facial recognition thing, so the government can get your picture of you 12-year-old face.
Your PlayStation Eye toy.
Yeah. Which people, I mean, Snapchat now, you know, everyone's faces everywhere, but it was kind of cool for it to implement in that sort of way. I think the NBA games started doing that also. I can't remember exactly because you could like implement yourself as a basketball player.
I can't see my 5'9" self playing with the Lakers, but whatever.
He means 5'5".
Tony Hawk's Underground, the storyline behind the game is you created your own character and you're in New Jersey, I think. Maybe somewhere in Jersey.
Was it Thug 2 that had like Barcelona and shit? Or
yeah,
was
that was
American
Thug 2. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second because you know I've played the fuck out of Thug 2.
Yeah. And
this one. Tony Hawk's Underground was one of the first games. One of the first in the Tony Hawk line of games, and the only one where you could drive a car.
You could, couldn't you?
It was.
I don't remember.
Pointless.
Yeah, true. You're supposed to be skating, dog.
You could sketch. You can get off your board and climb around.
Was this the first game you could get off on your board? Get off your board?
I think so. Yeah.
I remember when they did that shit. That shit was. I love being able to get off my board.
You could walk around, and the levels were kind of small.
Yeah.
But the way that
this is when they started like building big levels.
Because
expanding levels.
The developers would get into the lab, finger quotations, and build these levels as massively as they could until they couldn't run it anymore. And then that's when they'd start cutting it down.
Yeah, yeah. They started in this game by developing the areas off of real life places. So, this was the first game with the level editor.
Yeah.
Create your own skate parks. So you can just create like death pits. So every time someone loads into it, they just fall to the death and they can't get out. Mm-hmm. I remember that. That was fun.
Done it before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't remember the areas in this game. The only one I remember the most is Barcelona. Because Barcelona is like a legendary skate spot. And that was in Thug 2.
Yeah. The only ones I remember in Thug 1 was the hometown, and I think Hawaii. We should have really researched levels in these
I don't
games.
give a shit. It don't matter.
If I research it, it'll all come back to me, and I'll start spouting off shit about
it.
But
Thug 2 or Thug 1 was when they started introducing difficulty settings because people complained. Pro Skater 4 apparently was too hard for 8-year-olds. I don't know. So they started adding difficulty settings and stuff like that. And then you got a year later, 2004. Bro, they cranked these games out.
Yeah.
99, 2000, 2001. Every fucking year. Every fucking year.
Yeah, but now do we even care anymore?
Nope, because Skate came out. So
yeah.
Tony Hawk doesn't matter. Skate killed Tony Hawk's games.
Yeah.
Anyway. Even I forgot they created that Spider-Man game. Nice.
Yeah, Activision made the Spider-Man games. Like
Neversoft made the first one in 2000.
Yeah,
and then somebody else made the rest of them. But.
Inter Electro and all that.
Yeah. Anyway,
are we talking about my favorite one now?
We're talking about Thug 2. We're gonna move on to Thug 2. The only sequel to Thug is the. This was based in New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was New Jersey. Thug 2 takes place like Thug 1 never happened.
You get kidnapped by two people in hockey masks.
Which are Tony and Bam.
Yeah, and they want you to go on your world destruction tour.
And you're playing as teams in kind of like a scavenger hunt.
You know why they developed it the way they did?
Because of Jackass?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Jackass had just came out, and they were like, hey, people love Jackass. People in Jackass are skateboarders. Let's make the world destruction tour.
Let's make more money.
We'll throw Wee Man, Steve-O, and all the other Jackass stars in the game.
Steve-O, okay, you could ride around on a mechanical bull.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of the best unlockable characters in Thug 2. Which one do you think it is?
You're
wrong. It's Shrek.
I never when I played it as a kid, I never got all of the unlockable characters.
You could get Shrek, Alien Kid.
Because I was 10 years old when this game came out? Yeah, I was 10.
Shit.
Yeah.
I played this game so much I could probably get it in under an hour.
Yeah.
If I do just the bare minimum.
I really, really want to try to get it on PC so I can play Thug Pro.
Yeah.
but I can't.
It's too expensive.
There's nowhere that sells it. You have to pay like $40, $50 for it on eBay and hope they actually send you the disc.
Yeah, but Thug 2, you better hope. In Thug 2, you don't get a choice of whose team you end up on. I forgot who you start out. I think you start out with Tony.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the first level, they have the Wheel of Death or Doom or something where Phil Margera spins it. Yeah, Phil Margera's in it. He's an unlockable character at the end.
Yeah.
He skates around in his underwear. Yeah. Every so often, it could land on this thing, switch teams. You go onto Bam's team, or you switch back to Tony's. But your old friend from Thug 1 is back there with you, and he's trying to one-up you as usual.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. This was, they started including new features and stuff. The score, it was a 3D environment. It was modeled after various cities. You had to complete various goals. They introduced the focus ability, which was like, what, slow down time?
Yeah,
so you keep your combo, stuff like that. The Nautis spin, where you can spin on fire hydrants, pillars and shit. And the freak out. Yeah,
where you could just get fucking mad and snap your board.
Yeah, I remember that.
Favorite one is where he just puts his head through it.
And then they repurposed the wall point maneuver as the sticker slap.
Yeah, and you could also tag walls.
Yeah. They did also include a classic mode, because people were like, hey, I want the stuff back from Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3, where you only have 2 minutes to do something, and I'm boring. Yeah. So they introduced it back. 2 minutes
to spare of my life.
Yeah.
In Thug 2, when you're chosen for Tony's team, you start out in the warehouse from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
Yeah, they introduced the downhill jam, the school, the warehouse from Pro Skater 1, the Canada, Los Angeles, and airport from Pro Skater 3, and Philly from Pro Skater 2. It's pretty cool. They did announce a sequel, but I guess it never came to fruition, and they did make it American Wasteland instead.
And then after American Wasteland is when they start polishing the turd.
But yeah, one of my favorite things was when they started introducing these real life areas, they sent photographers out with their teams to just look at the area. Like if someone never been to Barcelona before, but they had to design Barcelona, they flew to Barcelona and stayed in Barcelona for like a week, taking pictures, seeing the sights, seeing where all the people skated, talking to skateboarders. It was really cool the way they did it. And then we have 2005. They introduced Thug 2 Remix.
Oh, I remember that.
It's for the PSP.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that because I beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, they released it for the PSP. It was just a port, pretty much, of the console game.
Yeah, when PSP came out, I got one. And
only thing I played on PSP was Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
Yeah, didn't that come with it?
Yeah. Because my mom wouldn't buy me nothing else.
Yeah, Remix already had it. Like, I was playing the shit out of it on PlayStation 2, and then the PSP came out, and I got it for, like, my birthday. Mm-hmm. Mom's like, what game do you want? I was like, let me get Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
It's like,
don't you already have that? Yeah, but not this one.
It's got a different word on it, Mom.
It's the same game.
It's literally just a port. But okay, that's enough for Thug 2. Let's move to American Wasteland. Was this Thaw?
Thaw, yeah. I don't think anybody called it Thaw.
No, everybody called it American Wasteland.
Yeah. American Wasteland, great game.
It was advertised as open world.
No loading screens, which was bullshit, by the way.
It was advertised open world, but it was really just, they took the city of Los Angeles and made several levels out of it. Mm. They made it as big as they could, but they couldn't make it that big.
Yeah.
Because it was still on PS2 and Xbox. Oh, it came out on Xbox 360 too. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is when Xbox 360 came out, because PlayStation's always behind.
Like a year behind.
Even though PlayStation player. But they would take the biggest levels, as big of levels as they could, and then they would just connect them through tunnels.
And that was your loading screen.
The tunnels were the loading screens. And that's why there was like long tunnels in between and stuff like that.
The subways and shit.
That was your loading screens. So they could technically advertise it as open world, but wasn't. But this was the first time you could ride BMX bikes.
I remember the commercial for this game before it came out. It's like Tony skating through Los Angeles and he hits an invisible wall. And it's like, no loading screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all that.
So yeah, you could ride BMX bikes. You could actually compete in BMX tournaments.
Because this came out right after Dave Hoffman's
Matt
Hoffman, my bad. Matt Hoffman's BMX game.
Yeah.
That was created by Activision also.
Yeah, you're thinking of Dave Mira, rest in peace.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work.
I keep forgetting he passed away.
I didn't know he died. Thanks for telling me.
Dave Mira's dead. R.I.P. in peace. And, American Wasteland, the story of that is you're a newcomer to town, you're a skater, you're trying to make it pro, and you hook up with, what was his name?
I don't remember. You met a Mindy?
Yeah, you meet up with Mindy, and then she takes you to her secret spot. No sexual innuendo intended.
Her spot.
Her magic spot.
Yeah, she gives you a new change of wardrobe, insists that you have to fit in or whatever. Then you end up at a local skate park called the Skate Ranch.
That's it, yeah.
They say it's a locals only spot, but you fucking go anyway. But why can't I remember anything about American Wasteland? Right
Pretty
now?
much in American Wasteland, you're the new kid in town that's trying to prove yourself to the locals.
New kids on the block, suck a lot of dick.
But I have no idea why they put this in American Wasteland, but you could do parkour.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Oh, yeah. Iggy Van Zandt was in the game.
He was the one, the skate ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
Favorite part of American Wasteland is throwing my board into the wood chipper.
The whichever?
The wood chipper.
Oh,
you could throw your board in this. You could throw it at people.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a wood chipper at the ranch. If you threw it in there, it just went bzzz, wood shot out the other end of it.
That's super cool. I didn't... My brain doesn't work right now. It was mainly about you... I remember the skate park because you pretty much build the skate park.
Yeah, when you completed certain tasks throughout the games, as more pieces would come to the skate park, and you could blow up the Hollywood sign. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
And Tony's there.
I wish I could have played the games again before we did this.
They're so hard to find, though.
But yeah, getting a hold of it's really hard.
Like, it took me, I had to go through somebody to get a copy of Thug 2. And it was just sitting in his closet.
Yeah. If anybody has Thug 2 for PC, I want it.
Yeah, go ahead and send it to us.
Please and thank you.
I'm going to hop on PlayStation Network when I get back to the house and see if I can get American Wasteland.
It might be on there. I haven't checked for any of the Tony Hawk games.
While you're rambling about this piece of shit fucking game, I'm going to look for it.
I didn't even play Project 8.
Good.
I never touched it. It was the first actual open world game Tony Hawk made. It was the first open world, Neversoft Tony Hawk game. PS2, though, the game was different.
When this game came out is when I got my PS3.
Yeah.
I didn't get a PS3 game when I bought it. I got this game because I was like, every time I get a new console, because it was a tradition, every time I got a new console, like when I got my PS1, when I got my PS2, I got a Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I knew, it was a game that I knew, and I wouldn't have any trouble playing.
Yeah.
But I got this one, which was a fucking mistake.
It came out in 2006, which I'm trying to... No, Proving Ground was the one that got shit on by Skate. But Project 8 came out originally on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Xbox 360. And then a little bit later on the PS3. And the PlayStation 2 game was different than the PS3 and 360 game because the PlayStation 2 could not handle the content that was within the game, it being open world. So they kind of had to change the game a little bit so they could still release it on PS2 because PS2 just halted development a couple years ago. But Project 8 is centered around a character aspiring to go pro through a rank system. Reminds me of the Most Wanted. Need for Speed Most Wanted, where you had to beat off 15 drivers or whatever.
Beat off?
What the fuck's wrong with you? I didn't even say beat off. I said beat.
No, you said
no, I didn't.
Beat off 15 drivers. Anyways,
all right.
You had I remember playing this piece of monkey fuck.
Tony Hawk had a team or whatever, and you were trying to get on his team.
Of certain people. You had to be in the top 8 to be on the team. I never beat the game. I got to place 2 and I couldn't get to place 1. So I took it to fucking GameStop.
Yeah, and that same year they released Downhill Jam on the Wii.
Don't talk to me about that yet.
I never owned a Wii, so I never played it. I did play the shit out of Wii Bowling, but at somebody else's house. Anyway, 2007. We're not gonna sit on Project 8 for too long. 2007. We have Proving Ground. Did you play Proving Ground?
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
You had 3 open world areas: Baltimore, Philly, and DC. It was a similar concept. You choose between 3 career paths. I guess that's how you go to each 3 cities. The 360 version came with a demo of Guitar Hero 3.
Ooh.
Cool.
Gnarly.
But there's 9 levels. You have 3 East Coast cities. The levels differ between the different console versions. That's kind of cool. That's in PlayStation 2 and Wii versions, you have to pause the game to select levels. That sucks. Anyway, this game shit the fucking bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had a far superior game come out by EA called Skate.
Ooh.
And them developing and the controls they developed really, really destroyed the whole entire genre. There's not a better skating game.
No.
And there will not be a better skating game unless it uses those same controls. Which they probably have like a copyright or something on. So no one else can fucking do it. Because it's EA. EA will not lose money.
Now, in Tony Hawk, I want to say American Wasteland, they implemented something like that where you went into focus mode. It's called Nail a Trick. It's where you use the joysticks to maneuver your board in certain ways. Like each one controlled a foot.
Yeah.
And you could flip it like every... But that wasn't really the same as Skate where you could hold down and flip it around to the right, do a pop shove it.
I know when Skate's first game outsold Proving Ground 2-1. And that's when, personally, I think that is when the whole franchise was just going to die. There's no way a Tony Hawk game is going to beat Skate because the controls for Tony Hawk, like, I always thought they were good. And then I played Skate. And I was like, these controls are dog shit.
And then what did Tony... I'm not blaming Tony Hawk for this. I'm blaming... Was it still Activision when...
Activision made everything.
Okay.
Neversoft made up until 2007, which was this game.
Okay.
And then they switched developers.
Okay, well, I'm not blaming Tony for this. It was just his name on it. But you want to talk about Rod?
Before that... We'll close out on the Neversoft era. So, the franchise started suffering because the games were past its prime. I think people were getting tired of making them. Activision realized that they had a new big boy in town, and that was Guitar Hero, because Neversoft was also making Guitar Hero. Mm-hmm. Because Neversoft, I don't know if you remember, Neversoft was the original team that built Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So they had Call of Duty and Guitar Hero alongside Tony Hawk. And Tony Hawk was obviously not selling as much. So Activision was allocating the resources farther towards Guitar Hero and Call of Duty.
And that's when Activision hooked it with Red Octane to make Guitar Hero.
Yeah, because this game came out around the 3rd Guitar Hero game. And Guitar Hero blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero was fucking awesome. But that's when the development really just marginalized Neversoft. They passed on the control of the Tony Hawk series to Robomoto, which we'll talk about them in a second. And I think Neversoft eventually in 2014 was
a big pile of poo-poo.
They were merged with Infinity Ward, which is the Call of Duty developer. Yeah. That's the only thing they developed. And then the downfall of Tony Hawk. Downfall of Tony Hawk was because Skate shit on their face.
Yeah, they did. I wouldn't say it's the downfall of Tony Hawk. He's still rolling at $140 million.
I mean, the video games.
That wasn't his fault.
I mean, he's not a developer. No. Literally, his name is just on it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just his name on it. But we have Robomoto, which is the next dickheads that created the rest of the shitty games.
And their mascot is an unlockable character, Roberta. The robot.
I'm not going to take a long time on the Robomoto series because it was very short-lived. I mean, it was like 7 years, but they all fucking sucked. So
let's keep it short and sweet.
The first release was Motion. It's a DS exclusive.
Yeah.
And it utilized like the tilt controls of a DS, kind of like how phones are now.
Oh.
And then also, that was the first game where you could be a snowboarder, which I would probably like that.
Whoa.
Did you ever play Steep?
No.
You need to play it. I think you'd fucking love it. It's on PS4.
I mean, I did play Cool Borders.
Steep's on PS4, and it's actually like it's like a Winter Olympics type game, you know? Like there's snowboarding, there's skiing, there's fucking wingsuit flying. It's fucking good, dude.
$10 right now.
Oh, for real?
Hell yeah, PlayStation Plus membership.
You should buy it because it's actually fun as shit. Like snowboarding, you can fly one of those little squirrel suits.
I see that.
Yeah, and like slam headfirst into rocks.
Like Sonny Bono.
Yep.
Oh, he nailed a tree. Never mind. Sorry, Cher. I love you.
But okay, 2009 was the first Robomoto game, and that was Ride. It was a game released on 360 and PS3. It used the a skateboard peripheral controller thing, and they did that because they said, "Hey, Guitar Hero's making a lot of money. Let's release this game for $120 that you have to have the controller, the skateboard for, and let's make the game really, really bad."
And they did.
The complete shift in the controller system and style, the game got really successful on the open world concept. People really enjoyed that. And then you release Ride, and you're going down a rail, basically. Like you're riding down a fucking downhill jam shit. And you could like perform tricks and stuff like that. And it's not what you thought it was. It was like 10 steps backwards.
Yeah, it's not what you thought it was, because when the game came out, I never owned it.
Yeah. But
I played it. And I thought to be able to do a kickflip in the game, you had to do a kickflip on the fucking board. So I tried it and shot the motherfucker across the living room. But what it is there's so many holes in the walls. It wasn't like, it was sensors on the side of the boards.
Yeah.
Like you leaned one way, it picked up on that sensor. It was like, oh, is he trying this or is he trying that?
Yeah.
It was just a shitty game. Like they had Ride and then they tried again.
It was promoted as the next step in the evolution of skateboarding. The next step in
fucking dog shit.
Yeah, it sold horribly.
And then
Game Trailers named it as the most disappointing game of 2009. Games Radar named it the worst game of the year. And they still released a sequel because they probably already started. It was a critical fucking failure, and it only sold 3,000 copies in its first week.
I don't even remember it until you brought it up. I had no idea what it was until you brought it up.
It was so bad. And, I mean, the former developer Neversoft, they said the idea of making these games where you had to have a little skateboard was because Guitar Hero made a bunch of fucking money, which they shot themselves in the fucking foot with that also, because Rock Band shit on them.
I think that'd be another episode talking about Guitar Hero and Rock Band and everything else.
We will talk about Guitar Hero, because that's a big part of...
Did you hear about the dude that beat Halo on Legendary mode using a Guitar Hero controller?
That's actually really cool.
He's the man.
But, okay, the 2012, you had Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. I think it was like a collection of all of the classic levels from the first 3 Pro Skaters. It was pretty much just like the Pro Skater games.
Yeah, because they saw that, hey, these games in the beginning were doing so well, but then we pretty much just stuck our dick in a deep fryer with Ride and Shred, so let's just polish up the old games.
And apparently it was still shitty.
Yeah, it was.
Apparently it was riddled with bugs, and it was just bad. Then after that, they released Shred Session.
Nah, I don't know.
It was on iOS and Android, I guess.
No idea.
Oh, it was pulled after a soft launch. Apparently they didn't like it.
Well, they weren't the only ones.
And then you have Pro Skater 5.
Okay, you were with me when I bought this game, I think.
Yeah, apparently Robomoto, they consulted with the old Neversoft people on it, but I think I was with you, but I never played it.
Okay, the guy wanted $40 for the game. We were up at trade day.
Yeah.
He wanted $40 for it, and I told him, you want to do 20? Because this game is terrible. It's awful. It's shitty. I'll give you $20 for it right now. It was a sealed copy.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure, you're right. The guy selling me the game said, you're right. It's a shitty game. Yeah, give me $20, it's yours.
Yeah.
And we were both right, because I get back to the house, I boot up the Xbox, I put it in there. I'm like, come on, don't be shitty. Because a lot of people have told me, hey, this game's shit, you won't like it, but then I end up liking it.
It's because the licensing deal between Tony Hawk and Activision ended in 2015. At the end of 2015. This game was released, September of 2015. So they had like a couple of months to be like, hey, here's a fucking game before Tony Hawk leaves. And believe me, it fucking shows. They were going to use a realistic look, but they changed it to that weird looking, they call it cell shade style, but whatever it is, it looks fucking terrible. And it was like 2 months before release, they were like, hey, let's change the whole style.
I got to the second level of this game.
Like Activision was like, hey, it's a stylish design change. It allows more consistent frame rate. The game didn't have consistent frame rate.
No, and
even after the change.
You know what killed this game for me? You have to land your trick. Like, you have to press a button to land your trick.
Oh, really? You can't just like land on the board?
Well, you land on the board, but there's a slam function.
Yeah.
And you slam down to the ground, and you have a 50-50 shot of landing your trick or bailing. That's
terrible.
I got stuck in a pool. I could not transition out of this fucking pool.
Wow.
There's a mission objective in the game where you have to score these points, or Tony's head gets really big. And then it explodes. You have to keep tricking to keep his head small.
It's so bad.
So much cocaine at this video game company. Hey guys, let's make his head really fucking big.
Apparently in 2017, the servers for the game were shut down, and the game requires online support to play it. So it's unplayable. Yep. It's unplayable now, as of 2017.
So now it's a coaster.
Oh god. It has the 4th lowest score of all time of all PS4 games, and the 5th lowest score of any Xbox One title. It was named the worst game of 2015 by Entertainment Weekly. Like, people are so mad about how bad the levels were created.
I was excited for this too.
Literally, the creative level in Thug 2, people created better levels.
And that's what they're doing with
Thug Pro.
Yeah.
Thug Pro it's basically
it's a mod.
Before we talk about I will talk about Thug Pro in a second. Let's try to stay on track. January 2017, Tony Hawk was like, look, I still want to continue the franchise. Robomoto was sucked. Everything they made fucking sucked. So Hawk was like, the games are technically his. Mm-hmm. He can make Tony Hawk games. He can attach himself to them. So in 2017, he was like, I want to create a VR game. That's what he wants. Tony Hawk wants a virtual reality Tony Hawk game, which didn't happen because in 2018, Maple Media released Skate Jam. I haven't played it. I didn't want to try it because I don't like skate games on iOS and Android. Not very good, in my opinion. I might try it out to see if it's any good, but I think VR might be the play, honestly. If he could, it would be hard to do because you would have to be able to actually do a kickflip. It would be cool if you could put wireless sensors on a deck and just sit in your living room and skate. It'd be cool. But I don't think it's using peripherals like that. I really don't think it's going to happen VR wise. Unless people that know how to skate, how to kickflip, how to 360 flip, your foot positions, how you fling your foot, how you flick it, stuff like that, how you heel flip, all that stuff. If you know how to do that, and technically you could put it on a VR headset and you could do it without a board, it's possible.
Just go outside and fucking do it.
Yeah, like just go get on a skateboard.
Go get sponsored. Go make something of yourself.
Yeah, like I think skateboarding games, there is not a better game than Skate.
Mm-mm.
If Skate 4 doesn't come out in the next 5 years, I'm going to go to EA and I'm going to ask very, very nicely for a Skate because I don't want to get sued for saying something mean. Anyway, that is the Robomoto series. Let's talk about Thug Pro though. Thug Pro is probably one of the greatest things. It was designed by 4 guys: Morton, Quaz, Percent Gone, and Chase. They're just random kids on the internet that know how to make mods. So basically, you have to own a copy of Thug 2 for PC, and then you download the Thug Pro mod, and it allows you. It's a total conversion mod of Thug 2 as a basis for an all-encompassing collection of all the levels from every Neversoft game. So everything from Pro Skater 1 to Proving Ground. All the levels. It's continuously getting updated. They're constantly adding in custom soundtracks, high-res overhauls, just everything you can imagine into the game. And that's truly like Thug Pro is what we needed when it comes to like reliving the game. That's really what it started in 2013, and they're constantly like, they got the developer Morton Lorson, he's got like long-term plans for it. He probably has like a fucking Kickstarter or a Patreon or some shit to make money from it. Maybe he streams it. I know the guy that owns NoPixel streams him doing all of the coding, which is really weird to watch. It's really cool though. Like he streams him coding the whole server, which is really cool. But it's extremely well received because it's put together so well. The developers, the people that code the conversion mod are really fucking good at what they do. You get to play every level from every game, except for I think they have some of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 levels in there. But even Robomoto recommended Thug Pro on Twitter if they wanted to play the Tony Hawk game.
Hey, we make these games. Well, fuck our games.
He's like, we made a really, really bad game. Do y'all guys want to play a better one? But I really want to play it, but it's really hard to get a copy of Thug 2 for PC.
I just found it on Amazon for $40.
Yeah, it's like $40 on Amazon on PC. I wonder how. Hold up, the game might actually be fun as fuck on PC.
Yeah,
I've never played a skating game on PC.
Me either. I know that.
I wonder how playing skate would be. Well, like with my mouse.
I think with just flipping the fuck out of your mouse. Just delete this whole podcast and just start over.
That would actually be. I want to try that.
Yeah. Talk about pricing of games. Thug 2 came out in 04? 03, 04?
I think so.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 came out 2 years ago, right?
Pro Skater 5 was 2015, 4 years ago.
Okay. Pro Skater 5 is 4 years old. Thug 2 is...
2004. 15 years.
15 years old. Guess which one's more expensive?
Thug 2, man.
No. Pro Skater 5 is still $60 fucking dollars.
Really?
Yeah.
They're still trying to charge $60 fucking dollars.
And I got it for $20.
Yeah.
At the Dirt Mall.
It's unplayable now. It requires online activity, but they shut down the servers for it. You can't play it anymore. So literally, if you want to play Tony Hawk games, get Thug 2 for PC or dust off a PS2 and play American Wasteland.
Yeah, of course.
I would say dust off a PS2, find one at a yard sale or a pawn shop or some shit, and play American Wasteland. In my opinion, that's the best place to go.
You won't regret it.
If you do not have a PC to play Thug 2 and Thug Pro on, and if you can't get a hold of a copy of Thug 2, which I'm gonna try to do so I can play it, then get a PS2, play American Wasteland. Or an Xbox 360. I would say get a 360 and play American Wasteland.
Yeah.
Get a 360, play American Wasteland, and you won't be disappointed. Any last words about the series?
Y'all did good. Tony has
nothing to do with the fucking games.
Tony Happy birthday.
I can't believe we recorded this on his birthday.
Happy birthday, my friend. You have been an inspiration to many, many, many people. You're an inspiration to me to start skating. Your games were good. I loved your video games. Somewhere probably still have one of your instructional videos of how to do an ollie.
I watched Andrew Reynolds.
Yeah, I watched.
Andrew Reynolds made tapes for 411.
I watched.
Do you remember 411?
Yeah, McDonald.
Yeah,
yeah. I
can't remember his first name.
Andrew, I think.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know. I bought some shoes.
Yeah,
and a tape came with it.
Oh, okay. 411 used to be the shit, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyone that ever wants to watch skate videos, look up 411, 911. If you want to see people fucking hurt. They have my favorite part, they have like a big section about scorpions. Oh my God.
Is Ragdoll in it?
Yeah, Ragdoll's definitely in it. No, like the worst one is this like black kid. Can't remember his name. He's like...
Is he the one that knocks himself out?
He kicks himself in the back of the head and gives himself a concussion.
Oh, okay.
He tries to 50-50 a rail, and it wasn't greased enough, and his board just stuck. And it was like a 12-stair rail, so obviously he flies face first, and he can't catch himself. He bites the ground and kicks himself in the head. Dude, 411, 911, gnarly.
Yeah. In closing, who is your favorite skater to play as in Tony Hawk?
To play as, probably in the original games, Chad Muska. I loved his style.
Yeah.
High socks,
shades, flat bill,
shorts,
jerseys. Yeah.
I love Chad Muska. And then when it moved on to like more custom creator and stuff like that, I would just choose random shit a lot of times, make it look like me. Sometimes I if I could have played as Terry Kennedy. Terry Kennedy was my favorite skater. Funny as hell, really good. But I think Chad Muska was my favorite playable character. Aside from like Darth Maul.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was Rodney Mullen.
Rodney Mullen, yeah.
Because he's the innovator. He's the man.
I could legitimately talk about skateboarders for a long time.
Just like with Tony innovating with vert style, Rodney was the man of street style.
Do you know why he started street skating?
Because vert was too hard?
No, because he was vert skating and I can't remember what he was trying to do. He was trying to learn a new trick and he fell off his board and didn't land it right on his knees to like slide down, and he broke his arm, and his mom and dad were like, we need you to stop hitting these vert ramps because it's scary as shit. So he was like, here's the deal. He was like 15, 16 at the time, so he had he could talk to his parents a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So he said, build me a concrete slab in the backyard.
And he just went to town.
They just built him like a concrete slab, like a 12 by 12 concrete slab or whatever. And he started doing all the fucking crazy, like primo slides, Caspers, all that shit. Like he just created so much because he hurt himself.
Mullen, the reason why I always picked him is because of the Casper slide, the dark slide.
Watch the Almost Round 3 tape.
I love that tape.
Greatest tape ever, except for maybe the new Plan B tape.
Is the one you're talking about, is that the one where he accidentally slams into Shatner?
Yes. So Almost Round 3 was Rodney Mullen, Day One Song, Chris Haslam, Ryan Sheckler, and just one other person. I can't remember the last person. Chris Haslam was the Jesus of skateboarding at the time. Day One Song is Asian. And really, it's insane how good he was. Rodney Mullen.
Physics.
Ryan Sheckler. Ryan Sheckler has balls of steel.
Yeah.
I don't care like how many people hate Ryan Sheckler. That man will jump off of anything.
Sheckler
he ollied off a fucking building.
He had 3 cars before he could even drive.
Yeah. Like, I think he was the youngest to go pro until Nasha Houston took
took that crown.
Yeah.
But favorite secret character?
Favorite secret character?
Yeah.
Probably Darth Maul. Like unlockable.
Spider-Man.
Oh, which game was Spider-Man in?
One of the originals. I think it was 2
It was
or 3.
probably in 1 because Spider-Man came out at the same time.
I think it was like 2 or 3 because the only unlockable character in the first one was Officer Dick.
Oh, okay.
Because he had this trick where he would kick flip. His special was he would kick flip the board out, throw a web, and bring it back to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
I
I forgot about the special moves. Like, every character had, like, a specific special move.
In the original game, each character had 8 flip tricks, 8 grinds,
and 8 grabs.
Yeah. And then a special.
Yeah.
Which Tony's was the 900.
McDonald's was the McTwist.
Yeah.
Because he created that. It was like a backflip roll thing. McTwist was kind of cool, though.
I always call it a varial.
Yeah. It's called the McTwist.
Now, back to Thug 2. I did not know you could go to hell.
Really? For
years, I did not know that. I would beat the game.
I didn't either.
You could unlock the hangar, which was an alien spaceship thing. If you completed, they weren't on your list of objectives. You had to find them yourself. You would have to hit these buttons. You had to grind to them, sticker slap them. It'd open up a portal. The ship would take off and fly through it. The next level would be like a Mayan temple. Then you would piss off the idols by spray painting on them. And then it would unlock, something would fall, break the ground. You could transition into that. And then you can go to hell. You did an objective there where you knocked over these pillars and it opened up another portal where it went to like a little dance club looking thing.
Yeah.
And if you went behind the curtain, the devil was in there. If you press like triangle, it'd say dance with the devil, and you and the devil would just like fucking shimmy and get down.
That's super cool, actually.
Yeah, I found that out when I got Remix.
That's super cool. I never knew that. I never did any of that stuff. That's super cool.
But that's Tony, baby. Let's talk a new game. Let's bring back the nostalgia of the original games. Let's the grittiness of Thug 1, 2.
Let's have Thug 3 when the PS5 comes out.
Let's have Thug 3 with the same nostalgia as the original games, but the grittiness of 1, 2 and American Wasteland.
Yeah.
Don't do Pro Skater 5. Don't do anything you did with that.
Call Neversoft
and tell them
you love them.
Get their shit together.
And you miss them.
And you want to have their little PlayStation babies.
That's what we want.
We
want Thug 3.
God damn it.
I think that's what people want is Thug 3.
Yeah.
You can make it nice open world like American. Make it like the open world Project 8 was. The true open world that you had in Project 8 and Proving Ground. But like the gnarliness and like the grittiness and the crazy antics you had in like Thug 2 and American Wasteland.
If we get a Thug 3, do you want Fat Bam?
You can't have Ryan Dunn in the game though.
He wasn't in any of the games,
which saddens me.
Yeah,
put him in the game, but
as an unlockable.
Put him in the game as an unlockable, but like, never mind. I'm not gonna make a joke.
I know where you're going.
Never mind.
Shut the fuck up. Make his special where toy cars fly out of his ass. Oh, never mind.
Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, I was about the shitty joke, but Ryan Dunn, we love you.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about him dying. So that was the Tony Hawk everything. A lot of stuff.
We did it.
We made a thing.
We made a baby.
We made a little Tony.
This podcast is our baby. This is our gaby.
Okay.
I've been sitting on that joke for weeks.
Right.
By the way,
let's end this.
Happy birthday, Tony Hawk. You're the man. And happy Mother's Day to all you ladies out there.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the mommies. Everyone that takes care of children.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. Tell your grandmas, tell your great grandmas.
Tell your aunties that raised you, we're going to cut that. That's racist.
I'm not cutting anything.
We're losing a fan.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so this was the Torn Page. This was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and the entire series of Tony Hawk games, the good, the bad, and the bad, and the bad.
And the bad, and the bad, and the Pro Skater 5.
Yes.
And the Bride, and the Shred.
I was Casey.
I was the artist formerly known as Joseph.
And that is where we're going to end it.
We love you.
Follow us on Twitter.
We are on Twitter.
My @ is lasers. GG.
Mine is my first and last name. If you don't know it, fuck you.
It's Joseph Basil.
God damn it. Just tell him my social.
421.
That's a phone number.
The Twitter for the podcast is the Torn Page Pod. It's @ the Torn Page Pod. Instagram is the same. I don't use Instagram. The email is the tornpagepodcast@gmail.com.
Drop us a line.
Either email or DM the Torn Page Twitter if you want to give suggestions of what we should do next. If you want to give us money, DM me for my PayPal. Because why not?
Or just hand it to me in public. It's fine.
We're just fucking around, but like, if you really want to give me money,
give us some money because burritos aren't fucking free.
Oh, dude, we have a new burrito spot opening.
Oh, yeah. Hotheads.
They're pretty much done.
Yeah.
They should be open in like a week.
Yeah, this podcast brought to you by Hotheads Burrito.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Not #ad. All right, we're done. We're going to get out of here. I got to edit this and cut out like 30 minutes of bullshit. Yeah.
Spay and neuter your pets, everyone.
This was The Price is Right.
Ba-da-ba-da.